or a little advice we can give to help move you along. But you do have a lot of moving parts to this, a lot of permissions from other people over which you have no control, some vintage elements, some current elements, some live elements, some archival elements. I mean, this is quite a jigsaw puzzle for you to put together.
Yes, it's difficult, and that's why I like it.
Yeah.
I like things that are hard. I like being challenged, and I'm gonna see this through one way or another. I'm committed to it.
Now, do you have partners yet? I know that you are out there looking for sponsors or looking for interested individuals that might want to be benefactors or investors, as is often the world of filmmakers.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That is in the very beginning stages, and that's kind of a to be continued.
Sure.
But I hope to make the announcement online, like I said, within the next month. I am working on a blog, which I hope I can update every month to let people know where we are in production, kind of maybe bring some people on this journey with me.
Sure. And while we're thinking about it, so I don't skim right over it, tell me the website. Tell me how to get to the blog so people who are listening can jot this down. Get your pens ready, everybody.
Well,
Get your pens ready.
I can't. I'm sorry.
Not yet?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay.
That might be another conversation we have down the road, Jeannie.
Okay, forget the pens. Don't put your pens down. We're not writing anything down.
We're not ready yet because the blog is still in development.
Okay.
So this is quite an undertaking for me. But like I said, it's going to be a big challenge, but I'm ready for it.
So if people just wanted to get a hold of Frank de Cesare, how would they get a hold of you? Just drop you an email
Sure.
if they wanted to open up a dialogue?
Sure. My email is Frank, F-R-A-N-K, P as in Peter, J as in John, D as in David, @gmail.com.
And say it one more time.
That's Frank, PJD, @gmail.com.
Perfect. Great. So if you get some emails that are a little more curious about either Blacksmith or your soon-to-be-released, secretive, confidential,
soon to be announced.
Soon to be announced, right. Not released yet. Soon to be announced. Top secret project.
Yes.
They can have a dialogue with you about that, too.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So as a teacher over at State College of Florida,
Yep.
what do you focus on? Because I know I've met many of the teachers over there, and they each have sort of their sweet spot of what it is they do best, what they do most,
Yep.
what they like most.
I concentrate mostly on production. I taught creative video making last semester. And Dell, Chris, and I, we met, we hammered this thing out. What do we want it to be? And we all agreed that it would be an introductory class to teach students the fundamentals of videography.
Nuts and bolts.
Nuts and bolts.
How do you get the job done?
Yep,
right?
exactly. As I tell my students, the acronym FACE, focus, audio, composition, and exposure. That's pretty much it. Without those four things, you're not going to have much of a video.
Right.
And then, of course, there's also editing, which comes later.
Right. I was going to say, though, that the old hack that I hated to hear when I was back in the world of production was, we'll fix it in post. No, you won't. If it's chicken poo, it's going to be chicken poo. It's not going to be chicken pot pie.
It's not.
So no matter how much editing you do to it.
You can spend money on plugins, and some of them are good. I'm actually impressed with some of the plugins that are out there to maybe correct some of the mistakes, but you always want to get it right in camera, and you also want to get it right in the recorder.
Right.
Anyone who's ever made audio mistakes and has tried to correct them in post knows that it's a nightmare.
It is a nightmare, and you better know some really great people who really understand looping, or you'll never fix it.
That's right.
You'll never fix
And
it.
forget overmodulation. That happened to me once. I promise it'll never happen again.
Right. Or echo. Yeah, been through all that.
So that was last semester. This semester is electronic field production, as I call it, sort of a run and gun live videography class. The students go out, they get a
Grip
live
and go.
event. Yes, run and gun. Yep. So I'm mostly on the production side, which is what I like. The theory, that's not really for me.
Right. Well, and how many are they doing? Short films? Are they doing demos? Are they doing little sizzles or trailers? Or what are your students hoping to create with their skills?
Well, last semester in the creative video making class, I concentrated initially with sort of one-man band piece. I want to teach them, B-roll, A-roll. And they also worked as a team. They did a sort of a short piece on Bayfront where I told them, because I want to teach them the importance of nat sounds, things of that nature. I believe it was Steven Spielberg that said that half of what you see in a movie you're actually hearing. And that's part of the audio exercise that we do. So it's a lot of one-man band work, maybe some teamwork. Short films, yeah, I give them the option to do that, but I tell them, I say, no, this isn't a content class, and I'm not going to grade you on content. This is not a screenwriting class, but if you want to go out and do a short film, I give them the rubric, and this is what you're going to need to, these are all the points you're going to have to hit if you want to do well. As far as electronic field production, that's pretty much live events.
Well, and it makes a great future for things like sports.
Yep.
I worked with a camera crew out west for about 5 years, and we had 3 different camera crews that would go out in different projects, different times. And the one camera guy was absolutely great at handheld, shoulder held, and wild sound. And I said to him one time, "What is your long-term objective?" And he said, "ESPN." He said, "I want to run all around the sports field. I want to be handheld. I want to pick up the action. I want to do boxing. I want to do field sports." And he eventually did and became quite good at it. And
let's face it, that's actually where the money is.
And the world travel.
Yes.
He travels everywhere at somebody else's expense.
That's right.
So they can call him up anytime and say, "We need you in Guatemala," or "We're going to fly you to Chile for some soccer."
Yeah.
Or,
So,
over to Switzerland for some snow skiing, whatever.
I'm a firm believer you got to walk before you run,
Right.
and I don't want to give these young students this idea they need to go out and make a short film and send it to Sundance, because again, if you don't have the fundamentals down, you're not going to get into Sundance.
Or your uncle isn't Steven Spielberg,
Right,
or
right.
you aren't nephew of a J.J. Abrams or something.
Right, right.
Very few shortcuts in this world.
Very few, especially in this business.
Although you do hear about those lightning strikes every once in a while, but when you drill down, you almost always find out, oh, she's the daughter of a studio head who was a personal friend of, XYZ.
Yeah.
So, McQ,
Yep.
whatever it might be. So. All right. Well, I would tell everybody out there in the sound of our voice, if you've ever had any interest in a blacksmith or what they do, take a look at Frank's video. It's really very interesting. And again, I think the key word that we've both said a couple of times is very atmospheric. You're not going to learn how to put on a horseshoe on a horse. No. You're not going to learn how to forge a sword a la the Renaissance age, but you're going to learn what it feels like, what it looks like. You're going to imagine what it smells like, what the sensations are, and how does your skin feel? At least that's how I felt when I watched it.
Well, that was what I had in mind.
Yeah.
I don't want to put you inside, Rob's forge, and have you experience it, albeit in a visual sense. But I tried to make it as atmospheric as I possibly could.
And I'd recommend, too, if anyone is truly wanting to see what inspired Frank, go ahead and take a look at that 1958 short film, Glass,
Yep.
from the 1950s. That sounds like something well worth also feeling a little bit of
It certainly is. It's
atmospheric exercise.
Oh yeah, it's about the glass blowing business in Amsterdam. I think what happened was I think Hanstra, I believe he was commissioned to go out and do a black and white sort of documentary on, because you can see that on YouTube as well. I think he probably got the idea to do a poetic documentary.
Probably.
And he got his color film out, because it's in color, the movie Glass, and it is beautiful. It's one of my favorite short films.
Great. And my last question before we let you go is, on television right now, there are some reality shows, some competition reality shows like Forged in Fire. And are those blacksmiths? Or are they specialty blade forgers? I mean, I wonder that when I watch it, because my husband watches it all the time. What's the difference between doing something on a forge of all kinds rather than doing what they do, which is forging blades?
That's actually a question for Rob Flurry.
We'll have to get him on here.
Exactly. I guess my own
humble opinion. Okay.
Yes, very humble opinion, is that blacksmith's probably a very, very broad term. I mean, if you're forging a blade, if you're forging an axe, chances are probably you are considered a blacksmith. I think what makes Rob different is that he does it the old school way, the way they did it 100 years ago. There's no expensive equipment. The only thing that he had that I recall in his forge that's even remotely modern is a grinder, an electric grinder.
Sure.
Everything else is done with, with the crank blower, with just his own sheer strength. And, the forge he puts together with straw and charcoal, and he's got to regulate the temperature via the blower. I mean, that is really how blacksmiths produced their work, well over 100 years ago. You're not going to see that, I don't think,
no,
on
we're not
Forged
going
and
to see
Fire.
that on TV.
Forged and Fire, they got pretty modern equipment on
That's
that
true.
show.
That's true.
So that would be the difference.
Well, Frank, you've been awesome. Thank you for being
Thank
here.
you.
And we'll have to get you back when your full-length documentary is more made aware to the world, and we'll talk more about that next time you come. Will you come back again?
I certainly will. Thank you so much, Jeannie.
Thank you. And everybody out there, thank you for listening to Entertain You, and we'll talk to you again next time. Bye for now. I want to thank you for listening. I'm Jeannie Corcoran, your Sarasota County, Florida Film Commissioner, and if you want to get a hold of me, you can go to www.filmsarasota.com, or you can call us toll-free from wherever you are at 888-765-5777, extension 104. We're easy to get a hold of. And we like email. You can email us at info@filmsarasota.com, and we check all of our email. If you don't hear back from us right away, it's not that we haven't gotten it, but we might have a computer glitch. I hate to admit it, but it happens a lot. We've had emails that disappear for a month. We've had phone messages that disappear for 2 months, but they show up eventually. So we will get a hold of you. Or you can get a hold of us, ask us questions, and if we can help you, we will. And if we can't, maybe we can steer you in a good direction to somebody who will help you. And that's it for me. I'm Jeannie Corcoran, and you've been listening to Entertain You on the Radio Ear Network, and this is the Society Bites network of programs. Thanks for listening. Talk to you again soon.